yourselves, collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And in this video we're going to be taking a quick look at the most recent offering from the Retro Collection. This is the second wave of the Return of the Jedi figures. I think it's the second wave anyway, and it comes in one of these boxes which is supposed to mimic the Sears exclusives from back in the day. We can see we've got the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary logo on the side there. We've got the Retro Collection sticker, and we've got the characters that are included inside this box, which are all carded, of course, for the Retro Collection. And let's have a look at the rest of the box, because this is the best part of the box for me. I love these images of the characters on top of the box there. I think that's awesome. And I've got to say, it's a bit of a weird lineup of characters this time. And we do have Mon Mothma as well, which wasn't made back in the Kenner days. Side of the box, we've got the Return of the Jedi there. The back of the box is exactly the same, and that side's as well. And then on the bottom, we've got all of the legal gumph. So there it is. As I said, it's one of these Sears exclusive type boxes that we first saw with the first wave of the A New Hope figures, which already came out in a previous sort of wave, single carded, that you could pick up in supermarkets and on store shelves and what have you. And then they decided to put them in these boxes and make them Pulse and Shop Disney exclusives. This was delivered today by Hasbro Pulse in the UK. So there's the box, looks pretty cool. Let's take a look at the cards inside. And I'm not going to be opening the figures in this video. I don't review Retro Collection figures in terms of the actual figures. I have all of the figures anyway from the original Kenner line, except for Mon Mothma, of course. But let's open them up and check them out. Okay then, so here they are out of the outer box, and they're all carded, as I mentioned, and they're all unpunched as well, because they don't need to hang on pegs. They come in that box. But I've got to say, even though they were nicely packaged within that box, which is a really sturdy, thick box, there are some quality control issues that I want to sort of bring up about these figures. For the most part, they seem okay, a little bit dusty. You can see some dust around the top of the cards and everything. But the one in particular I'm going to take a look at for the QC issues is my Yak Face, but we'll come on to him in a minute. Let's take a look at these one by one very quickly. So there is the Gamorrean guard, huge bubble for him, obviously. And I've got to say, seeing these in hand, it is really, really weird seeing that Gamo guard on a card. It does look very like the figure that I remember having when I was a child. I do know that the figures in general are a little bit softer in terms of their details. If you were to compare one of these figures to one of the original Kenner figures, the sort of sculpting work and everything is ever so slightly softer. The detail isn't there as much as the originals, but you know, they look pretty good. And he's on the Return of the Jedi card, of course, with the sort of lime green name pill and that horrible big Retro Collection sticker, which is a sticker. And then of course, as we all know, we have this horrible thing going around the edge to sort of, you know, make out that they're worn and creased up and that, which I just think is ridiculous. There's the back of the card. This is one of the worst things about the Retro Collection, is that, you know, the back of the card is just so boring. Nothing going on there whatsoever. But front of the card, got to say, that looks pretty good. Now, apart from this one being a little bit dusty, there's not really too much wrong with this. The bubble looks good, no dings or anything on there, so that one's in pretty good shape. Next up, we have the Royal Guard. Now, this one was on the edge of the six within the packaging, and I can already see some QC issues with this. It's a little bit bent. Luckily, it hasn't made a crease, but look at the bottom of my card there. You can see a nice ding on the card. Now, luckily, it's where that sort of fake weathering is, but the card itself has taken a bit of a ding. You'll be able to see more on that side. Look, you can really see where it's sort of taken a ding there. And kind of almost like folded over, which isn't great. And when I tried to take the figures out of the box, I did think these are packed in too tightly to this box. So that's probably why that's happened. And that bubble there isn't cut very nicely either. That sort of goes in quite a lot there and then protrudes out. But, you know, I'm nitpicking now. But in terms of, you know, the QC issues, that's all I can see with this one. Once again, a little bit dusty. And that is the Royal Guard. And once again, even that soft goods on that Royal Guard just looks identical to what I remember having as a child, and also the figure that I've got in my cabinet. It looks so similar. So beware, people out there, if you're buying figures on the secondary market, on eBay or wherever, that people aren't trying to stitch you up with a retro figure. making out that it's an original one from back in the day. There you go, a little bit dusty around the hanger tab there. This is Admiral Akbar. Hasbro absolutely love making Admiral Akbars, that is for sure. And once again, looks very, very much like what it's supposed to look like in terms of the original Kenner line. So that's Admiral Akbar. Next up we have Wicket. Smaller bubble for Wicket, which is good to see. They did that with the Yoda figure from the Empire Strikes Back line. Eventually, the first sort of wave of them, he had a much bigger bubble, and then, you know, there's a variant out there basically with the smaller bubble, and, you know, they've done that with Wicket. Again, nothing on the back, so nothing too bad for that. And once again, yeah, looks pretty damn similar to what I had as a kid. There you go. Now, this is where I want to talk about the QC issues. I'm going to save Mon Mothma for last, because obviously that's the sort of main figure in here that I'm really sort of interested in, because she wasn't made back in the day, so I've never actually had a 5POA Kenner style Mon Mothma figure. But here is Yak Face. Now, what can I see that's wrong with that? Well, if you look at the punch hole there, what's happened is the machine has tried to punch it once, missed, and then punched it through there. So I've actually got like a silhouette of the punch machine on there. I don't know if you can see that, but that has tried to go through twice. It looks all right on the back, but you can really see that I've got this marking that goes along there, and we've also got a sort of a mark there as well that you might be able to wipe that off, but it's, you know, just a bit of a dusty card maybe. But there is Yak Face, and of course, you know, this is probably the most expensive, or one of the most expensive figures in the vintage Kenner line, the Yak Face. There are more expensive ones like the pop-up R2-D2 with the pop-up lightsaber. You know, he's probably more expensive than one of these. One of these in really, really good condition in the vintage Kenner line will probably set you back about £300, maybe $350, maybe more, especially for a graded one. So, as I said, beware, everybody. I'm sure on the back of his leg he's got like a date stamp or something to show that he is a modern figure. So, but just be a bit careful out there, guys, because I can imagine some crooks out there will try and pass these off as originals. So, but that is Yak Face, and on that classic card, very much like the vintage collection as well, and it's got the pink as well, very much like the Power of the Force version of the vintage collection one with the coin, not the regular release, because they use a red one for that. So yeah, that's my QC issue for those. That is not good. I noticed that as soon as I got them out of the packaging. And finally, we have Mon Mothma. Very interesting, this one. I reckon they've done a really good job, actually. She looks great. They've given her the Leia style blaster to go with her. I'm not too sure if she needed a blaster particularly, but she's got one, which is pretty cool. And she's got sort of like a necklace motif going around her neck, which is good, which is nicely painted in silver. And she's got like a two-tone grey outfit there. It's not quite white, her top there. It's like an off grey, and then you've got the dark grey underneath. But she looks pretty good. I like the hair sculpted in there. The face isn't too bad. But, you know, how badly do we need a Mon Mothma in the vintage collection? Whether it be from Jedi or any of the other series that she's been in, we need a Mon Mothma, really. Preferably the one from Jedi, though, if I could choose. Decent card back image there. I think they've picked a really, really good image for there. Unfortunately, it's completely ruined by the giant retro collection sticker, isn't it? But I'm going to keep them like this because I like to keep things how they came. Even though I don't really like the sticker, it's going to remain there. But this might be the only one that I have on display out of this whole set, because as I said, you know, I've already got most of these figures anyway, loose. And if I'm just looking at all of those, we have all of those in the vintage collection already. So from a card back point of view, I already have those cards on my wall. But not this one, Mon Mothma. She's going to go pretty cool with all of those. So there you go then, guys. That's just a quick overview of the new Return of the Jedi retro collection. I don't often cover retro collection on my channel, but especially not the new versions from the new media. I'm not interested in those whatsoever. I think it's a waste of tooling budget, if I'm honest. These, especially when they do things like this, which is what I think the retro collection should be about, giving you the figures that Kenner never made. And I think they're missing a trick by not doing more of these, like your Tarkin, your Mon Mothmas. I think they did a Luke Snowspeeder, which is a bit of a weird choice, really. But there's loads, isn't there? Rebel Fleet Trooper would be a good one for them to do, things like that. But There you go then, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you collecting the retro collection? Do you collect all of the retro collection or just the original trilogy? Let me know in the comments, and yeah, let me know what you think of these. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members. Your support is incredibly important to me, so thank you so much for that. And we shall see you on the next one.